I'm Heather Vale.
And I'm Dr. Steve G. Jones.
And we're talking today with Shelby Collinge. Shelby is an author and a mentor, and typically she deals with personal development, helping people overcome beliefs. But she's also written numerous books and ebooks, one of which is the 25 Rules of Relationship Marketing. And just give us a little bit of background. I know you came from a corporate background.
I did. Before I ventured out on my own, I actually worked in corporate America in Silicon Valley. I lived there for 13, 14 years. And what do you do when you live in the Bay Area? But you sell software. And had a hugely successful career. Really, it was almost 11 long years. And I learned a lot. And really, that was pivotal for me to launching into my own business, because I realized how many people had the same types of clients and quotas and sales training as I did, and we were taught all this, and we had the same products to sell, and yet we all had very different results. Some of us were very successful, some of us couldn't sell to save our lives. Some people, made quota club every single quarter, some people didn't. And I realized at the end of the day that there was a piece that was different with the way I approached clients than other people that I worked with approached clients. And I really came from a relationship perspective, more like, this is not a one-night stand. This is going to be a long-term relationship, because as a salesperson, it's so much harder to find a brand new client again and again and again. And nobody really loves doing that in sales either. If you talk to anybody who does sell, it's like if you can have one client that bought a lot, that's far more ideal than having to find a brand new client every single day. But so much of the traditional sales modeling and training is built more on this one time. You kind of deal with them and then they're gone. And I just didn't love that piece. I felt, we all have problems. They keep recurring, and I just want to be the one that keeps solving them whenever they occur, whenever that happens.
What did you just launch?
My ring.
Wow.
Flying.
You have magic powers.
Beautiful.
I like that.
I'm surprised the lights have stayed on the whole time.
You normally dim light?
Yeah.
Is it like Men Who Stare at Goats? Have you seen that movie where the computers dim when the guy
No,
walks
but I've
in?
done research, and it's called being a slider. And
Slider?
when I walk around at night especially, it's like blink, blink, blink. And
Really?
I turned off the mall lights at the,
If one of those arch doorway doesn't come off.
She's
where's my watch?
electric.
Yeah, very electric, there's no doubt. But again, I really loved the dealing with people and dealing with the same people. And so everything that I've ever done with my business, including to this day, has been built on a relationship rather than you walk in, we do something, and I never see you again. So
Okay. So how does that relate to the online world? Because I know a lot of people watching have online businesses or want an online business, and we keep hearing nobody's going to buy from you if they don't know you, like you, and trust you. And it sounds like it kind of relates to what you're saying. So what's the correlation?
Well, I always tell people, think about how you buy yourself, right? Now, depending upon what you do in a day, very rarely does one fleeting message across Facebook come across your screen and you go, I'm buying, and you just click and buy. Like, that just typically doesn't happen. And so there is some belief around expediency should equal results. However, it's not always the results that we want, right? Just because something's fast doesn't mean it's going to be the result that you want. So you can have a million eyes, but when it's something as big as that, it doesn't mean they're the qualified eyes or the eyes that you want. So I always tell people to really think of how they themselves interact. And for a lot of people, it's like, I've been on this email list for 7 years for those solar shutters, and I still have yet to buy them. And so when you think about what triggers you into a purchase, it isn't just usually an offer. Maybe somebody says, if Steve goes, oh, I really like that restaurant, that brings down your guard that much more. Mm-hmm. I know there's a gal that's coming into town tonight, and she was referred by another friend, and because she came from that friend, then number one, I'm having dinner with her. Number two, I've moved my schedule around to accommodate her a couple of times with flights, cancellations, etc. So having met the woman blind, would never have gone to dinner, but because she's somebody that comes from somebody I know, mm-hmm. who I've done business with, who has somewhat a filter for me, then it makes it that much easier. And so a lot of people buy based on relationships and don't even really realize that that's the reason, whether it be just in passing, somebody says, oh, I got my car windows tinted here. That just saves me one step. And we're all so crunched for time, mm-hmm. that when somebody says, hey, try this or go here, or, it cuts your time to that research so much shorter.
Right.
But very seldom does that happen when you're all by yourself, you know, amongst the sea of all that information? There's definitely
But that's
things,
what reviews are for.
right.
I got my car
Like
windows
buttons.
tinted,
Right.
and I went to Yelp, and I read the reviews on Yelp, and I actually picked one based on
Or
the Yelp reviews.
Hotels.com.
Right.
Any site that-
Amazon.
yeah, any site that offers
It's that
reviews.
social proof.
We want to
Yeah.
see what everyone else is doing and
That's
see if
right.
make sure they survived it financially
Right.
and
That's right.
survived in general.
Right?
Okay,
Yeah.
so then where does that bring us in terms of how people can, I guess we're talking about here helping people structure a business in such a way that they reach out and connect to people and build a relationship with them.
So again, for me personally, I am a busy gal, so I check on Facebook maybe twice a day for 10 minutes a day. So that's not somewhere that I go for buying.
Only twice a day.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? You're
I
supposed
know.
to be on all day
People
long.
say that they like have these problems being addicted to Facebook. Like I can't get that
It's not
whatsoever.
an addiction, it's the way it's supposed to be.
It's it's not. It really isn't. I jump on, I kind of answer messages, I peep, hello, how are you? I say
Wow.
something, you know, pretty fun, and then I'm out.
Wow.
And see,
In, out.
that's
For
it.
you.
No one to hold them, no one to fold them, no one to walk away. no
Well,
one to
because
run.
for me, that is not my best mode for interacting with clients, right? So that's not where I have found that tons of things happen. Now, sending people to, I like email. I don't know about you, that's
I love
still
email.
my best mode of communication. It even surpasses texts. I mean, Heather and I, about getting together this, had 30 emails that went back and forth, no phone calls, no texts. And so a lot of us think
Thanks for
that
hitting
we're way more technology driven, but the reality is we still like electronic mail.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the ways that I communicate with my clients. So again, if you don't ever read email, then using email might be a little out of alignment. See, I love email. That's how I totally interact with people. So that's definitely one of the modes that I choose to use to interact with my clients. So it's definitely something that's a natural fit for you. So for me, even social media is a fit because I'm a chatter. I like to chat, I like to talk. So
we
that,
didn't notice.
that is a good platform for me. But if you're a shy person, then hanging out on Facebook or Twitter all day might not be the best.
Or sometimes for shy people, it's more of an outlet. They do get on there. because
Well,
they,
right.
they
Yeah.
don't want to
It's that
interact.
secret anonymity, right? Though they're not interacting as themselves. It's just kind of like the looky peering, you know, from afar. Don't really say
Creepy.
anything. Just kind exactly. That's that.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. So
There used to be a lurking. They'd say, yeah,
Yeah.
I've been lurking, but not.
Right.
Yeah.
So getting back to how people can reach out. So one way they can reach out is, or one way they can develop relationships would be to interact on social media. But some people, what about for people like yourself who really, you said you don't like it. So how
well,
do you
I
reach
like it, but I just can't get time sucked into it.
out?
Like
So for you, it's emails. That's how you reach out.
that's how
build these
I
relationships.
definitely right. I write a newsletter once a week.
Okay.
But again, there's nothing anymore in online, in my opinion, that happens in less than like 15 touches. So you know,
Okay.
back in the old days, it used to be you need 9 touches. I mean, I think that's almost doubled. And that's just to get somebody to take an action, like to go sign up for a newsletter or to go and sign up for a free call that people are doing. And here's the thing about free, is free is just as hard to sell as something for a charge.
Because people always think there's strings attached.
Well, there is. I mean, if you
There is.
if you even think about other segments that we talked about, it's like if you do something, then there's got to be something else coming
People
back
get
the other way.
suspicious.
Right.
You know, are you gonna put me on a list and
Right. There's a lot of
Barbie.
preconceived notions about free, right? Everybody's got to sit
No
with
such thing as
themselves.
a
So-
free lunch. That's a big belief.
So what if you hold that belief as a person and yet you want to do this relationship marketing? You're thinking, well, if I see that and I see a free thing, I think what's the catch? What if you hold that belief and at the same time you're still attempting to do relationship marketing?
Well, see, you can't do those incongruent things. See, that's
Ah.
where the suffering kicks in, right?
Ah.
A lot of people go, "Oh, I want to be this master salesman, but I could never ask anybody for money." It's like, really? Like that's
Or I would never
never-
want to be asked for money myself,
Well, but the
and
reality
then
is,
so I couldn't ask someone else for money.
right? But that is such a when somebody says, "I don't like to be asked for money," it's kind of like, you really have to look at that because you couldn't get through life if somebody didn't ask you for money. It's like you go to the grocery store, they're like $29.93. It's like,
Okay, but there's a difference because when you go to the grocery store, no one's trying to sell you anything. You buy what you want, you go there, you pay the money for the things that you chose. However, if you go to another kind of business like a used car lot, for instance, that's notorious, they're trying to
They're going to do
sell
relationship
you.
marketing that's a bad relationship. You just don't want that relationship.
Well, but see, here's the thing. I was at Costco yesterday, and at every corner there was a sample.
Right.
Yeah.
That's selling.
Yeah.
My ladies, okay? That is selling, and gentlemen, that is selling to the core. It's like you never in a million
have it.
years would have tried this, so here's this new
like a
energy
dealer.
drink, and so it's free.
It's soft sell,
First
though.
hit's free.
They suggest.
But if somebody shows
They
up on a
say-
website, how soft is that? I mean, you can click away at any minute. That is
Right.
way more softer than
Right.
somebody handing you something physically and you having to say, no, thank you.
So
or-
what's the solution? Should we start accepting those free samples at Costco and start?
Well, I think
getting
you
those
got to
free
get a
things?
better attitude if
So
you
we can-
want to be able to use that in
Then
your
we
own.
see the value in it. Then we can share
Right.
that value with other
Right.
people.
Well,
Okay.
and let's face it too, it's not really true that we don't like free things. Like if you got a coupon for a Baskin Robbins free ice cream, you would take it. If somebody said, here's a free, you've got to sign up the survey, it really depends on how much
See-
skin you've got to put in.
Yeah, I don't
the
have a
game.
problem with free. I always weigh, okay, what are they asking for? Just my email address? No problem. I've got an email address that I use for all my newsletters. I'll give you the email address because I want that audio. I want that webinar, whatever it happens to
Right.
be. I make that conscious decision.
Right.
I'm cool with it. You give me a sample at the store, I like it, I might buy it. I
Right.
don't like it, nah.
Right.
You know, it's like,
But the thing is you can't be in business and be like, I don't want to give away for free. And then, you know what I'm saying? Like you
I'm
have
never-
to,
no.
the key to non-suffering is to really do what you say and mean what you do. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like to be in alignment, to
You're-
be it.
You're a wise one.
To be it.
It's the key to
You know, a lot of
non-suffering.
people can say it, but they aren't being it.
Right,
And
there's a
that's
big
where
difference.
the flaw comes.
Well, see,
Yeah.
in my business, I work in production. I produce things, and I don't have to sell. I don't have to, promote them. So I think when people can have that separation, it's great. One person produces or runs the production department.
But
the
you're
person-
selling just as much as the production people are, because if your product is lousy, they can't really sell
Right,
it.
right. And my job
Right.
is to make sure it's cleaned up, it's perfect, everything's been refined in it.
So you don't say to them, give me $30, but you're selling that video the whole
I'm
time.
making sure it's worthy of $30.
Right.
Yep, that's a good point.
It's a different mentality, right? You just think, oh, because I'm not the one taking the credit card or the one that says, hey, now you need to sign here. But the reality is, without you, they could do nothing.
and,
Good point.
and the reality is the public perception is that it is you because it's your name on the website. It's your name, your signature at the bottom. It's from you, even though you had nothing to do with it.
This
well,
is
no,
But
I
it's
do create
from
the
you.
emails. Those
Okay.
are from me.
But this, right? The emails
But I don't
are
have to
from
run
you.
the. I don't
sales
have to
letters
run
are
the
from
money
you.
and all that.
You
Right,
don't have
everything's
to,
from me.
You don't have to run it, but the public perception is I'm giving Steve my money
Right.
for that audio.
Yeah.
And the way you've made that right in your mind is to step back and say, I'm in production,
Yeah.
right? Because at the end of the day, you're the one that signs the check. So if
I don't even sign checks. I do not deal with money at all.
But that's your safety way of doing it, right?
Maybe.
But all
So-
of the mentality, all of the thought preparation in the video is that it's going to be sellable.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
good point.
Yeah.
And I am very conscious of that. Someone's going to be purchasing this. We
That's
did not
right.
want a refund.
That's
they've
right.
Got to be very
You wanna
happy
give
with
them
it.
value.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's all selling.
Yeah, good
Yeah.
point.
It's just the perception about it. Like you're not the one saying, give it to me.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's perception again.
yeah, it's
I like it.
everything is perception, right?
like it.
And that's why people go, "Oh, I'm not a salesperson." It's like, are you kidding? Kids are the best salespeople ever. Mom, I want this. Dad, I want this. They'll sell it. They'll sell it. They'll sell it.
Parents, it's time to go to bed.
We sell it. We negotiate.
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, I can't do this. I can't." It's like, are you kidding? You're selling to people and negotiating with people all day
Dating,
long.
relationships. It's all, yeah.
You go walk into a bank. Some people dress differently. We change outfit. I mean, there's all of it.
Steve
is
changes his jackets for different videos.
perception. It's all
That's
about.
right. This is my fuzzy one.
I like this.
I
This
know,
is
it's
nice.
Yeah.
so,
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you, ladies.
See?
Where were we?
We're talking about that it's all perception in every relationship. We're always selling. We're always relating. There's
Getting
marketing
in alignment
going on
with
all
what
the
you're
time.
doing,
Yeah.
right?
So it's all relationship building.
And to be
marketing.
honest, the relationship has to be with you. Like the number one relationship is the one you look at in the mirror when you go to bed, when you brush your teeth, when you wake up is you.
Oh.
And one of the things that why I'm not in corporate America is when I would brush my teeth, it was like that selling of the soul. Every time I did something, not the way I wanted to, but the way I had to, it was like, do you really want to do this? Is the money really enough to not do this the way you would want to do it? And slowly but surely that answer became no. we cannot do this anymore. This is not the way you would want to do it. And so then it was a choice, right?
Yeah.
Either you quit and you give up the luxuries of having that, or you get in alignment and suck it up and keep doing it, right? There's never a right or wrong, but you just can't ride that fence, because that's when the suffering happens so bad. It's like, oh, you're there, but the money's there, but you're not happy. You didn't like the deal that you did. You're not going to be able to go back to those clients the way you wanted to. So it's all about how you line up with it.
Very good point. So as we wrap up in 1 minute, give us your top pointers for this relationship marketing.
Is that if it's not okay for you on 100% level, then don't do it.
Okay.
Like, you really have to make sure that it's in alignment with you. I know for me, if I'm having a bad day, which does not happen very often, but when it does, it's a bad day. It's meltdown. It is. I don't go on social media and pretend to want to post something positive. I just steer clear, because it's not true. It's not in alignment for me to go out there and say, oh, it's going to be a great day, woohoo, when it's like I want to scathe and, you know.
People see through that.
Well, they don't see it all the time,
It's
but they
energetic,
feel it.
yes.
You can feel it.
Yeah.
Very good point.
And a lot of people lose sight of just how important that is. You can say a lot of things, but there's a difference in it when it's made it away from your head to your
So
heart.
you're kind of saying believe in your product and believe in your process at the same time.
Without fail. Like,
Okay.
you've got to be able to believe, like when your parents go, I don't think you're going to do it. It's like, I don't care what you think. I'm going to do it anyway. Almost like a bulletproof belief in yourself.
Very good point. Any final thought you want to leave us with?
That if it's to be, it's up to you, and no one can do it without you, and you're 100% responsible.
I like it.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much for being here. Where can
Thank
people
you.
learn more about you?
Go to my website, shelbycollinge.com. You can find me Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest and all the good spots.
We'll look you up. Thank you, Shelby.
Awesome. Thanks, Shelby.